I think they picture Frankenstein movies, so that's one reason why I'm going to be playing Frankenstein at this concert, is because of that.
There's no science fiction here. These Tesla coils are producing live music.
Tesla coil is basically a coil that generates high voltage, and you see these in horror movies. They shoot lightning bolts out of them.
The Tesla coils take basically household power, either 208 or 240 volts, and it steps it up to incredibly high voltages, enough to ionize the air and pass current through the air, which is a spark. And that's what we see in here.
I think using them to make music is a more recent, like in the last 20 years, idea. Basically, the way you do that is that each coil, each arc that you produce makes a popping sound. And so if you do hundreds of arcs per second, then you get a tone, musical tone.
Mark Smart controls the sound using a unique instrument called the Continuum Fingerboard.
It gets brighter and louder with pressure. And then the left to right controls pitch. And I also have it set up so the front-back direction is controlling sort of a growling effect. So if if I don't press very hard, I get a narrow pulse, and if I press harder, I get a wider one. So what'll happen during the concert is that will control how large and loud the arcs are.
Definitely bolts of electricity and good music are enough for a show, but Terry Blake takes it to another level.
And there's people that climb up the side of a cliff or jump out of an airplane or go swimming around with sharks. I mean, pick your poison. There's plenty of other things people do that give them a thrill that they feel is safe from their perspective.
The voltage is really high, so it's a little bit less dangerous than AC current is from the wall because it's at a higher frequency. And the higher frequency tends to make it less likely to electrocute your heart, but it's still very dangerous.
For the most part, I think we believe it's all good, solid engineering, and you know, if smart people can do stupid things more than once, it's kind of one of our mottos. That it seems like it's dangerous, but we're all got so much experience and so many years that we've been doing this sort of stuff that we really know what we're doing and feel pretty safe doing it.
It's all a matter of where you are in terms of where the sparks are. Obviously, you don't want to get hit by a spark, so you stay out of its reach. And the coils have a physical limitation of how far out they can reach. And if you're outside of that range, then you're perfectly safe. Now, if you go inside that range, it's a different story, and that's what Terry does. But he has protection against that.
It's a mesh of little rings, stainless steel rings that are welded together, and this material is used for typically the gloves would be worn by a butcher so that he could make cuts to meat and not cut his fingers. And I've got a shirt that I wear that's a similar sort of material that's worn by bouncers to help protect them from knife stabs. We do have to like smush them all together pretty good so there's no disconnect, because the disconnect would mean the current would go through me instead of the metal. And the only other thing is these rings are not electrically connected other than they're just touching each other. So if for some reason I'm moving my arm around rapidly, there could be times when the rings are all floating in the air and there might be like a little temporary disconnect and I might get some little shocks from that. But for the most part, it seems to protect me pretty good. Combine science and music, theater, art. Yeah, we got everything's going here. You know, what's not to like? Get those kids learning how to do engineering and stuff.